Thank you. Ensign, please bring the next passenger on board. Camille Miller. Camille Miller, not what I expected, not what I expected. Camille Miller.
I have a confession. I'm black. No, really. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. Growing up, way up in Northern California, I suffered enough prejudice to last a lifetime. Have you ever witnessed an act of prejudice? 3 out of the 4 neighborhood black families knew how to keep quiet and stay out of the way. It was the 4th family who refused to be invisible. One morning, they awoke to a burning cross in their yard. My family was terrified. I always wondered why we never moved away from that hick town. I was bullied, made to run around in my underwear by trying to find my clothes that were hidden in some dark part of the locker room. I was called names that I had to look up in the dictionary, and some of them weren't even there. And then there was Byron. He had the hall locker next to mine, and whenever he'd see me, he'd slam the locker, call me a racist name, and spit on me. Even now, I can feel that slimy discharge against my skin. But what crushed me the most was catching glimpses of my fellow classmates as they watched it happen. And they did absolutely nothing. After high school, I decided to move across the country to go to a predominantly black college in Washington, D.C., Howard University. I showed up with cowboy hats and surfer shorts and a red, white, and blue pair of Nike high tops. I didn't even know how to dance. The girls in my dorm didn't invite me into their conversations because I looked different. I had a different vernacular, and I hadn't had the experiences that adolescents had afforded the other girls. They nicknamed me Oreo. Black on the outside, but white on the inside. At Howard, I wasn't black enough. I didn't fit in that box that they built for me. After Howard, I decided to move back to California, where I got my first full-time job. And you know what came with that job? Health insurance. Boy, howdy, I'm a big girl now. When I got that anticipated letter from the healthcare provider, I ripped it open and my eyes scanned down to the middle of the page, only to see that my new doctor had a long Middle Eastern name that I could not sound out or pronounce. My tongue couldn't wrap around the arrangements of vowels and consonants. I had to call her Dr. H. I thought, I'm not going to see her. I made all of my appointments at a time when Dr. H was not available, so I'd have to see another doctor. Months later, another letter urging me to make an appointment with Dr. H. I ain't gonna see her. We have nothing in common, and she's probably not the right doctor for me. Then I got that third and final letter with the date and time of my next appointment with Dr. H. I was so upset that I had to talk to somebody about it, so I called up my best friend, and she said, "Don't be afraid of what you don't understand." What? What are you talking about? Then she said in a voice so loud that it rattled me, like the sight of that burning cross. Don't be prejudiced. Me? Prejudice? Not only was I prejudiced, I was a hypocrite. I tried to shove Dr. H inside the box of my idea of who I thought she was. I went to that appointment in a cold, small room, nervous and visibly sweating. There was a quiet knock at the door, and the doctor entered. She was not what I expected. Her bright blue skirt perfectly hugged her hourglass figure, and her light brown hair danced around her dandelion eyes. She said, "Good, you're black. I love black people. I used to work in Oakland, and all my friends are black." I was thinking, she probably has more black friends than I do. She asked me why I came in, and I told her I had IBS, irritable black syndrome. We laughed and hit it off famously. She broke down the walls of the box that I put her in, allowing me to confront my own prejudice. Look around the room. Toastmasters embraces people from all over the world. And here, I feel accepted. We all have different degrees of prejudice. We put people in little boxes trying to make sense of what's unfamiliar or what could be just a little bit scary. But if we're honest with ourselves and acknowledge our prejudiced thoughts, it's then we have the opportunity to change. Don't be afraid of what you don't understand. Embrace it. It's time to let people out of the box. Mr. Toastmaster. There we go.
Ensign Sue, please give